afternoon to the viewers around the globe. Welcome to another live stream. Welcome to the viewers. If you're watching live or you're watching after the fact. Can't say there's really that much new to discuss. We just have our two scenarios that we are going to prepare for. Both lead to the same route. It's just a matter of, are we going to take the U-turn or are we just going to get right to the destination? So nothing really new, just review, and we simply wait. There's a little bit of propaganda going around that the bottom is in because of the 200-week moving average. I see that on Twitter and YouTube. I don't know. What is that from? I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't the bottom last time. I don't think it's going to be the bottom this time. But we smacked right into the 200-week moving average. I don't know. I remember we thought that was going to hold last time and we went right through it. So it's definitely something to watch. Actually, it's very common you go through it. But we'll find out together. Cryptomalisis in the chat. Did you just wake up? No, I woke up about 7 hours ago. 3 hours ago was 12. 4 hours ago was 8. So I woke up 9 hours ago. I wake up at 6 o'clock every morning. I wake up before the rooster. I have a weak heart as I'm aging. Yeah, Sonny, man, we all do. Get to the back of the line. No, I'm just kidding. You got to take care of your body, man. You got to eat whole. You got to eat whole foods. You'll be surprised how much better you feel just by 1 week of eating whole foods. Right now, I'm on the Amanda diet where I only eat food that's green. I want to be a Barbie doll when I grow up. We got Richard Desmond. So with that said, now that the rubbish is out of the way, welcome to another live stream. We have Richard Desmond, Nadrin, DL on the down low. We got Lord Narwhal, GGC, Crypto Rally, Moonwolf, Michael Bear, Crypto Meowsis, Dominic Mysterio, Sunny Sign, Bull on Parade. A-Ball says, my aunt says 40K bottom. That means we're going up from here. I wish you the best, my friend A-Ball. I do. So we do have more evidence that we're still deep in a bear market. The views are officially consistently falling below 1,000. This is the first time since 2023 the channel views are consistently below 1,000. I mean, we struggle to pull 1,000 views now. So channel revenue is clearly in a crunch, but market participation is nearing subprime shit. What is what does he say? They're full of shit. With subprime shit full of FICO scores below 550. We're full of we're deep in the bear market as the views have been crunched below 1,000. So just 3 weeks ago, it was euphoric, and now we're struggling. So big bear market indicator. We're approximately halfway through the bear market. Actually, I think we're past that. I think we're way past halfway mark. This time is different. Super Psycho Moon Boys are cooked. I'm eating a giant cookie right now. Dude, you guys better put some respect on Crypto Meowsis' name. That guy's a winner. I'm not gonna go down that path because that's the past, but that guy's a winner right there. When he eats at the table, he sits at the first place table by himself. And then he has his Barbie doll wipe his nose and his mouth, his napkin. And he says, "Thank you, dear. Now feed me." And then he says, "I summon Electrical Dragon." That lets me sim through my deck and find all the cards I need to win the duel. Super Cycle is now cringe to me. It's okay. This is now my third bear market. I'm hoping to make this bear market the first bear market where I actually end the market cycle with more money than I started. As of today, that is the case. I don't know if it's going to continue that way. I hope it is. Technically, yes. That would be true. 2018, even though I had a little peanut bag, I managed to lose it all by the end. So, this should be the first time, I hope. Nikola Jokic says 36 Bitcoin at 150 and Doge is 6.7. We got Gumal, Craig Coates. BNB pumps we dump after. Yeah, I saw that after the fact. So I think we're down to two scenarios here. We did just get a nasty death cross. Now, I have to admit that the death crosses didn't play out in the spring, so they don't have to play out this time. I'm not as confident in them as I once was, but I'm still going to show them to you. The last time we got a 15-day death cross was right here. We actually went down to the bottom. What's really interesting here is this was in July and the bottom was in November. Ours was in June, so maybe the bottom's in October. Doesn't have to play out that way. It would be nice if it did, but 105 days from now is actually September, which is interesting. So maybe it's off by 1. However, in the prior bear markets, actually it marked bottom. Yeah, it marked the bottom. So not even consistent data point, but I will share it with you because it is there. And as you all know, we're sitting right on top of the 200-week moving average. The reason why I refuse to accept that the bottom is in is because we're only down by 51%. On top of that, you can see some of the altcoins did make new lows, notably Pepe. Pepe did make a new low. Now, technically, if you're counting the wick, it didn't, but if you're not including the wick, it did. Jasmy almost made a new low. Ethereum Classic made a new low. Doge did not. Cardano, unfortunately for Mighty Man, Cardano is now sentenced to eternal damnation. There's no bottom for Cardano, unfortunately. I do think over the next couple of years, Cardano will return to where it belongs in the dishwasher, all the way down at 1.3 or 13 cents. We can see Mog, poor Mr. Dropco. If you see Mr. Dropco, say a prayer. He's DCAing. I wish him the best. Mog is on its descent back to 0. Just made a new low for the cycle. VeChain is also on its descent down to 0. So a lot of these Bitcoin Cash just had a nosedive, potentially on its way to 0. Too early to say. Shiba Inu just made another low for the year. Actually, it just made another low for the last 5 years. Shiba Inu, new low. Say a prayer for Mr. Harlem Fashion. I know he likes Shiba Inu. Litecoin is also making a new low. So our dearly beloved Chris, who helps keep the lights on, hopefully he saved some of the rent money for me because I'm going to need it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. We did break the low for Litecoin, so say a prayer for Mr. Chris. We have XRP, almost made a new low, not quite. And that's it. We didn't make... Oh, wait, I think Ethereum... Oh, no, Ethereum didn't make a new low. It almost did. It made a new low on Bybit. I don't know why I have Bybit as an option, though. That doesn't really help us. I don't think Ethereum made a new... Oh, it did make a new low. Oh, wow. Ethereum made a new low. Yeah, so Ethereum just made a new low. So it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Harlem Fashion is in the chat, my man. How you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. Sunny says buy MSTR in October and go hide under a rock until November of 2028. Well, that's the rough projection. There he is. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Chris for 10. Keeping the lights on. Chris doing his part to keep the lights on. I appreciate the 10. Hidden bullish divergence on Bitcoin 12-hour chart on the RSI from February 5th low to today. Higher lows on the price, lower highs on the RSI. Also LTC, BTC is going up on the 4-hour. I appreciate the 10 from Mr. Chris. He says 12-hour RSI, hidden bullish divergence, where you made a lower low in price and a higher low on the price. Lower lows on the RSI, higher low on the price. Yes, on the 12-hour time frame, that is true, but 48 hours from now, if we break the low, it's not a bullish divergence, it's just bearish. So I see the hopium you're clasping for. I can only say this because I understand the attitude that you have. I do. I really do. You don't want to sell because the second you sell, everyone's gonna just receive $1 million deposit except for you. I get it. I really do. Just leave some money if it does go lower. That's all. Right? You don't want to be all in at these levels. Because if we go lower, at least you have money on the side. But everything does suggest that we will be going much lower into the end of the year. Now, I know there are some big YouTubers that I will not use names who claim this is accumulation. There is no statistical evidence that suggests that this is capitulation. Simply relying on the RSI, which in the very last market cycle did not mark the bottom, is not a signal of capitulation. Not to mention the fact that we broke the low by 10% from the last RSI, which means by default, if we repeated that, we would go all the way down to 53,000. So, also worth noting, Mr. Chris, the monthly RSI did just make a new low. Therefore, we are still in a bearish environment. Now, some may argue we're right here. If that's true, that's true. But until it's true, it's false. And I think the propaganda of the bull run is gonna not end well. But the 12-hour RSI does have a hidden bullish divergence. I think that could be portraying that we're gonna get a bounce. Do keep in mind it's too early to say. Yeah, I can't really make any comparisons. Don't have them. I think again, there's always that possibility that we do get a bounce into the summer. I'm not a TA wizard, and I'm not going to tell my viewers that I know exactly what's going to happen. Could we sit here with the 12-hour RSI and rebounce like this? We could. Again, the S&P is still max bullish, so it's tough to call for capitulation right now. Doesn't mean we can't get it because we got Bitcoin's leg down in the bear market here and then again here. So we don't necessarily need the S&P to go down, but it's very bullish. I mean, I thought the semiconductors might have finally topped, and then sure enough, by the end of the day, they're right back up This morning the wick was massive and now it's gone. The stocks are just on they're on a once in a lifetime run. You're not going to see a run like this again for a while, at least for the semiconductors. Unless we're about to get the COVID crash, right? If we get the COVID crash, you best believe they're going to gobble it up. And then that's where the bear market is in 2029. Kind of like what happened with COVID, where you just had the run of runs, and then we pulled back, and then it just teleported to the upside. Maybe even something like this. But this was over the course of a year and a half, so I don't think that's possible. But nevertheless, we don't want to ignore how oversold that is. We very well may get a bounce. Now, the way that I say that kind of sounds like I'm trying to cover my ass. What I'm not, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to do is prepare you for both scenarios, which you're going to look at once I say thank you to Chris. There's only two options here. We either get a big bounce off of that RSI and then we top out in the summer, which was the original idea. That was the original case. Or we are actually about to capitulate. Then we get the bounce into the summer. All roads lead to this level. There's nowhere to be found. Like, we cannot escape this. The reason why I say that, Mr. Chris, is because even though your 12-hour RSI may have a hidden bullish divergence, we just made another low on the monthly time frame, which means that this move down may be legit. Not only that, but the 5-week also made a new low, which I guess you would say it's a hidden bullish divergence, which I guess technically is true, but by the end of the month, if we break the low, it should signal we're going much, much lower. So I would say to you that if you want to remain bullish, you can, as long as the low holds. But once the low breaks, there is no reason to continue the bullish propaganda, because I'm not the biggest fan of the RSI. The stock RSI, which is what we use, just crossed bearish now, and we're already down here, which means Bitcoin has to now survive all of the bearish propaganda when the stock RSI is oversold. The problem is, when the stock RSI is oversold in a bear market, that's where the biggest moves down are. So technically it turned bearish at the top when it crossed, but once it hit oversold, that was when all the black swans started coming in out of nowhere. The propaganda, I don't know who said that, but I love abusing that word, propaganda. The bearish propaganda really gets cranked up a notch. Here it is again. Technically, it was bearish at the top, but once it hit oversold, the bearish propaganda got cranked up another notch. So, in order to remain bullish, you not only have to survive this bearish propaganda, but you also have to survive the bearish propaganda at the bottom. Now, the problem is, by the time we get down here, which will probably be at the end of the month, it's going to take another couple months to get up here. So the only logical explanation is either the bottom is already in and we're forming an accumulation low, which is maybe what you're looking for, or the bottom's about to get blown out and we're going much lower. So I would simply say, to wrap up my soliloquy, if you want to remain bullish, that's okay. I'm not saying that you should, but if you made up your decision, I will respect your decision. I would simply say two things. One, leave some money on the side just in case we do go lower. And two, if we do break the low, if you want to cut your position, that's up to you. I don't think it's going to be a little bit of a low. Or maybe we do briefly break the low and then bounce, but If we break the low again, that means that the bottom was never in. And if the bottom's not in, then we have to assume it's a 4-year cycle. And if it's a 4-year cycle, the bottom should be at the end of the year, which means anything other than holding the low here will result in a bottom in Q4. So if we break down, if you want to cut your positions, that's up to you. I cannot tell you to do anything. But I appreciate the 10, man. I hope it works out. Just be open to the possibility. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm doing it because I need the money in your pocket. No, I'm just kidding. You know I'm just kidding, man. No, I'm not. Be open to the possibility that Litecoin may not go up ever again. I know it sounds like something that I would never say, but I also would have never thought Cardano would go to 0. Our friend Mighty Man has been nothing but pleasant over the years, but for the last 5 years, he's come into my chat saying Cardano will change the world. And little did he know it was going to change his world. And it changed my world too. It's probably never going back up there. It's getting ready to go into the ether. I would normally say that probably won't happen to Litecoin, but the fact that Ethereum Classic is now participating in the same fate, I have to potentially be open to the possibility that Litecoin enters the same realm of possibility where it breaks the low and just teleports to the downside. I do think there is a good chance Litecoin comes all the way down to $25. Now, how do we prevent that from happening? Well, you did point out LTC, BTC is going up. The problem with that is every BTC pair is going up, which is what we don't want. People are probably getting excited that the Bitcoin dominance is going down. You don't want this because this is what happened last time. The Bitcoin dominance went down the whole bear market, and then when the bull market started, it went up the whole time. We want the opposite. We want the dominance to go up in a bear market so it can go down in a bull market. But now we're doing something just like this, where the dominance doesn't want to go up, which means there's a good chance the next bull run is going to be like last time, where Bitcoin just sucks up all the money. So I appreciate the 10. Mike Kiliani, long time no see. How are you doing, man? Not another low on the monthly time frame, almost another low. On the monthly RSI, I think we did make another low, Mr. Chris. Let me zoom in with my spectacle and make sure I'm not giving you bearish propaganda. No, my chart, we did make another low on every exchange. So your bullish propaganda has been invalidated. I'm sorry. I don't know who said that, but I'm going to put that on a shirt. Bullish propaganda. So yeah, I think we have two paths here. We have path A, where we're down here by the end of the month. Or technically it could be next month. I think we have, oh, I already have it drawn. Sorry about that. Should be macro YouTube. Oh, actually, yeah, I do have it drawn. We have two paths here. We have the path of a bounce into our blue box, and then we go down. Or we just go down. Then we rally into August. And then we go down. So that's the two scenarios. The reason why is because if it was going to be bullish, it should have been bullish when the momentum that has always sent it up every single time in history has just occurred, and we went down anyway. So now we have to pay respect to the bears because the stock RSI is about to cross down, and every time it's crossed down, we've gone down. Now, there isn't all lost hope. I do like our stochastic heat map. It is potentially, at least last night, this did turn maroon. I think when we bounced, it went away. We're on the cusp of capitulation. We're really close. We're really, really close. I just don't know if it's today or if it's next month, or sorry, in 2 months. But we are officially at the stage before capitulation. You can see we were dark blue and then it turned maroon. Here it was dark blue again, then it turned maroon. Here it was dark blue again, and then it turned maroon. Last night it was maroon, but it bounced, which means the next candle is probably going to be maroon. However, if we bounce again, it won't be maroon. So we're like standing right at the edge of the diving board. It's just, do we want to jump in or do we want to bounce? Do we want to bounce off the diving board first and then go down? But we're really, really close. And again, I do see the propaganda that we've already had capitulation. I want to continue to reiterate that according to the actual on-chain statistics, not an opinion based on momentum, we have not entered capitulation yet. We are potentially at the stage before capitulation. You can see the Nupals at 20. It was at 20 in 2022. It was at 20 in 2018. And it was at a little bit lower at 14 in 2014. So I think we're sitting right on the diving board. The question is, did we just bounce up off the top to go splash into the pool? Or are we going to get a second one like 2018? But I think it's inevitable that we come down here. And I finally made the discovery of what causes this. And it is the act of going below the long-term holders' realized price. We went over this yesterday. Again, there's really nothing new. It's just a waiting game. If you look at the time, we go below the realized price. You can see we hit 19,000 in June of 2022. So just remember June of 2022. We hit the realized price in November of 2018. And we hit the realized price of January 2015. So we're looking for June, November, and January. Right here we have June. We hit the red nupal. We have November right here. And we have January. Actually, yes, we do have January. I'm going to explain why. Well, actually, I can't explain this because I give my premium members that chart. I can't give you guys the chart. But if you're a member in the membership videos, the chart that we have does show that we hit the realized price in October. This one is the long-term holder realized price. So the short-term holders is probably underwater. Oh yeah, this is the chart. Yeah, this chart actually worked. This was the chart that I used in my videos, remember? I didn't think it would actually work, I'll be honest. I was just kind of blowing fluff. But we actually went right back to it. No, I did make a video. It said if we lose this level, it's bearish, and it was 76K. Alright, at least it wasn't a total waste of time. I don't like, I mean, I like to waste time, but I don't like to waste time a lot. I don't know why my chart's not loading. This is unfortunate behavior. Yeah, I guess they're charging you for data now. I don't know why it's not loading. But yes, my little pea brain finally put the pieces together that in order for us to hit the nupal, we must go to the realized price. So, in my opinion, there is no way around it. We must go to 48K. There's just no other way around it. So, the question is, do we sit here or do we just go down now? Chris says there's a hidden bullish divergence on the monthly RSI too. Right, so if we close June above the low, then you do have a chance. If we close June at 48K, There's no nothing. But I would be very, very, very bullish off of the low. It could even be in July. I just don't know if we're going to capitulate now or if we're going to capitulate later. I would prefer personally if we capitulated now because then we would be able to begin accumulation. So that's why I like this heat map because it explains it without me having to make up a bunch of rubbish. It literally screams when you're orange, even though this is maroon. When you're maroon, that's accumulation. And in every market cycle, we enter a period of a couple months of accumulation. This one was 213 days. This one was about 120 days. This one was much longer. Give or take, obviously, we're going up and down. 230 days. So if we enter capitulation now, then we could get accumulated from June all the way until probably December or January, and then we can start our bull run right away. If we don't go down until the end of the year, this is going to get shifted over, which means we're going to sit here probably until May of 2027. I know that doesn't make sense, but if you look at it, it does. Even in 2018, we sat here. The bottom was in December, but we didn't start going up until the very end of March. And the real move up was, I think, April 1st. I remember that day like it was yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think my photographic memory, it is April 1st. Yes. Oh, I was wrong. It was April 2nd. Close enough. Oh, no, but, in my defense, TradingView makes the candle a day early, so technically it probably was April 1st. You'd have to go back in there and check, but I don't feel like going back in there that far. I don't even think I can. But yeah, so what I would prefer is we just go down, we bottom in the summer, and then we get accumulated July, August, September, October, November, December, and then we just go up in January. If we do the hard way and we just sit here all summer, then we have to go down and then enter accumulation, but we won't be bullish until May, which is really unfortunate. How do I know that? I don't know that, but if we just look at the realized price, everything I tell you is based on historical reference. I don't just make stuff up. I do make stuff up, but I try and make it as factual as possible. You can see in every market cycle, we enter periods of accumulation around the realized price. So if we just sit here all year, that's what makes the realized price, though. The people are buying in. So it would be very, very nice. Very evil, very nice. It would be very nice. Actually, I'm gonna go get some water because I'm very dehydrated. I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Have Lord Narwhal keep the chair warm. All right, we're back. Welcome to another live stream. We're back. Adam says my eyes. Bitcoin October bottom. We are overcomplicating stuff. Yes, Sonny, if you're just sitting on your hands doing nothing, then we are overcomplicating stuff. But if you're trying to time the moves in every direction, we're not overcomplicating stuff. Thank you for playing. You got to remember, Sonny, that not everybody is sitting on $1 million cash. Some people are in the market right now, and they want to know the best time to get out. Unfortunately, that moment already passed. The question is, will we get another attempt? And I think that if we did go down now, we know there's going to be a big bounce in the summer. Because there has to be. Because as Chris just pointed out, the RSI would be so low that you would be forced to have a bounce. I think I just got rid of my RSI again. I don't know why I keep doing that. Yeah, I don't know how that keeps happening. Oh, no, I didn't. That's because the RSI was never on here. There she is. So that's pretty much the rundown. I think we're over the hump. Question is, are we going down now? Or are we going down in 2 months? Ethereum just broke the low, so that could be foreshadowing the move is now. We also made the case that the BBWP for Solana is screaming the same way it screamed in 2022. I'm going to assume that means we're going down now. Oh my, when you look at it like that, it looks so bearish. Oh man, look at that. Yeah, I guess if you bought Solana last time, you basically made money off the rip. Listen, some people are going to get rich right away. That's what's exciting. It's not going to be me, but some people are going to get rich right away. Solana was bullish off the get from January to January. You pretty much 10x, actually 20x your net worth almost. We're almost there. I think we got to sit. Oh, here it is. Yes, my child. Here it is. I knew I wasn't crazy. I don't know. I don't know. We might. What is that from? I don't know. We might be getting ready. This might be it. You're either going up or straight down. Because the thing is, here you went straight down. It doesn't look like it, but we fell by 39%, gentlemen. 39% is a lot. We went from $22 to $13. Cardano about to hit 17 cents and on. No, it's not even close. Wow, is it still going down? I think it is actually. Yeah, wow, Cardano didn't even bounce. Listen, if you make it through this, I think you made it. Trust me, if you make it through this, I think you made it. Because even if you buy in at 42,000 and the bottom is 38, it's not going to matter. And even the beloved MACD, just for the first time in history, I know I said this yesterday, For the first time in history, it printed another red bar after you printed white bars. So wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What did I say in the beginning of the year? The bottom is on the sixth red candle, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, what if the bottom is in June? It's not a prediction, it's just speculation. Because remember I was saying that the sixth red candle is always the bottom? This candle wasn't red, though. It was pink. Yeah, what if the bottom is in June? What do you guys think about that? What if we go to 46K in June and then we bounce July, August, September, and then we flash crash down to the bottom? That would be the best case scenario because then we could turn bullish right away and just go up. There has never been a super cycle and there never will be a super cycle. Yeah, super cycles only exist in the stock market. Which is why if we do somehow get a COVID crash, I think it's going to be the biggest V recovery ever witnessed in history. I know technically COVID will probably always keep that because that was a once in a lifetime thing. But I don't see how Bitcoin goes down without the S&P. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, the S&P is in full-blown bubble boy mode. I wonder if we're going to get some red dots. Wow, we're not even overbought yet. All right, I guess maybe it's starting to get a little... Okay, we are starting to get red dots on the daily time frame. That doesn't mean anything, but it means that the parabolicness, if that's even real English, the parabolicness is starting to fade a little bit. Once you get it on the 2-day, the parabolicness will start to fade. Chris says, I think the bottom was the previous low in this mid-cycle correction. Max Payne would be straight up from here while everyone is expecting lower lows. My man. My man. I wish you the best, Mr. Chris. I do. I do. I genuinely do, man. You've helped me so much in my YouTube channel. You send me so much money, man. I hope you know you have a backup plan. Cause I understand how you feel. I do. I really do. It's in my honestly, that's what destroyed me in 2025. I didn't want to accept it and then I lost it all. The good news is you're not holding shit on Solana. You're holding actual coins. So maybe you don't get maybe you don't suffer the same fate that I did, but again, I would just say you're allowed to be as bullish as you want, but if we do break the low, just be open to the possibility that everything we talked about for the last 6 months is about to happen. Because the worst case scenario is you sell for a loss and you buy back in when everything's 40% cheaper. Yudi for 10 says straight green candle from Max Payne on everything. Whales have been buying. I appreciate the 10. I mean, listen, I'm not on here to convince you guys. If you guys think we're in a bull market, you know, I don't know how to respond. Maybe. I think it's not possible. But I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong, you know. I just would say manage your risk. If your strategy is working for you, then you have to keep doing it. That's what I would say. Like when we were up here and I made the case that if it's a bull run and I missed a bull run, that's okay. I don't lose any money. When we came down here, I didn't lose any money. I didn't make any money, but I didn't lose any money. So if we go straight up, nothing happens to me. But if I buy in and we go straight down, that's it. It's game over. There's no recovery. So if you guys do think it's a super cycle, then as long as you have your plan set and it's working, then that's what matters, you know? But I don't think there's a scenario where we go like this. It's impossible. There's zero data that what's the word I'm looking for? I guess backs that up. You know, there's no data that backs that up. ETH's about to reclaim 2100. Yeah, but that's not up. Are you talking about like this? Or are you talking about like this? Because these are two different outcomes. If you think we're going to bounce to 2100 and then go down, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think that's very possible. But I don't think they're going like that. It's impossible. But either way, man, I wish you the best, dude. I hope it works out. The second one? Oh, so you think the bottom is in right now and we're going like this. Well, maybe it is, man. As long as you have a plan for both scenarios, you should be fine. But I do appreciate the 10. It does help out a lot. We got Chris for 5 says, I think Litecoin is going to make me filthy rich. And if you think I've been generous now, wait until I really make it. Man, Litecoin to 15K. I appreciate the 5. I mean, listen, Chris, I don't know what to say. I really think Litecoin might have topped out forever. It may never go back up there. I think you could cling on to the hopium if it holds this low. But I think if it breaks this low from 2022, you're going to go all the way back to the 2018 low. And then from there, you'd probably get accumulated. You'll get the Litecoin halving rally that always comes. And then I think that's just it. You know? I think if we lose the 2022 low, that's the top forever. And the reason why I'm scared is because if you look at this chart, I mean, Litecoin was so shit, it didn't even make it to the 618. It made it to the 0.5. And this is why I'm scared for Dogecoin, because Dogecoin has the same exact chart. But I believe Doge made it to the 786 retracement. Yeah. So I say the same thing for everything. It's not just Litecoin. Like, I'm not just picking on you. I don't have any Doge, and at the end of the day, if it went to 0, I don't really care. It's just Doge is the perfect sentiment gauge along with channel revenue boosting. I don't even know if I'm speaking correct English, but I'm still learning. I can't even say that this is not going to be the top if this low breaks. If we break this low, that's probably the top forever. Because there's evidence to support that. You have Ethereum, the top was in forever. You have Cardano, The top was in forever. You have Algo. Algo wherever you go. Top is in forever. Unless these coins experience protection bounces, which I'm not going to rule out. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping my 5-cent prediction either gets hit and then that's the low, or I'm wrong and there's a protection bounce. Because if Doge breaks this low, I don't know if it's going to go back up next time. But I appreciate the 5, Mr. Chris. Am I in Frankie Candle's chat when he goes live? No, I'm not. I believe that's another streamer. I know that name. I've seen him before. Didn't he used to work with BitBoy? But no, I don't participate in any streams. If you see someone that's pretending to be me, you know it's not me because almost every live streamer has their sub chat on sub only and I'm subscribed to nobody. So you're seeing the imposter that pretends to be me. He's obsessed with me. He loves me so much. He wakes up, he thinks of me. He wakes up, he doesn't even wipe his ass. He gets on his computer and pretends to be me, trolling people on YouTube. But the reality is he's bag holding Pepe all the way to 0. Because I found his wallet too. And he's holding Pepe all the way to nothing. So I don't watch any live streamers, no. Litecoin has just been consolidating. Since the 100x 2017 run, the next bull market for Litecoin is coming. I'm not going to say that you're wrong. I actually think that that hypothesis isn't something to disregard unless we break the low, which is very likely. Because structurally, if we went all the way back to $20, I don't know how it would make sense to go like this, get accumulated, and then go like this. I don't, like, I'm not going to say it's impossible because it's crypto, but at the same time, that doesn't really happen that often. But at the end of the day, everyone's got to make their decisions based on what they think. So, oh, by the way, just in case the chat is gonna misunderstand what I said, because he asked me a question about Frankie Candles. I know that's a streamer. I was referring to the guy that pretends to be me in the chat that doesn't wipe his ass. That's what I was referring to. The troll. That guy, I've been banning that guy for 3 years. He doesn't come around anymore. I think because Pepe made a new low, he's actually starting to finally feel it. So he doesn't troll anymore. But he doesn't troll just me. He trolls a lot of YouTubers. I'm just his favorite. Like, he pretends to be me. So I guess that's a sign of flattery. It is annoying, but I'm kind of over it now because I'm older than I was. And not necessarily just that I'm older from 2 years ago, but my brain has, like, moved on from that chapter. But that guy's going to always be in people's chats till he's 40 years old. He probably is 40 years old. No, he's probably in his late 20s. But yeah, I was referring to the troll guy, not the streamer. Because I know YouTube. I think that's what happened back in November of 2024. Remember you guys were trying to start shit with another live streamer? It was probably that guy pretending to be me going back and forth. But sometimes people can't distinguish the difference between a troll and a real person. I've never in my entire life typed in a live chat. So if you ever see someone typing in a live chat, It's not me. Because you have to be subscribed, and I'm not subscribed to anybody. But without further ado, I think we can start preparing because I am very, very excited about this bull market. I think you were wrong with $2 Doge. Yeah, I got a little carried away with that. Unfortunately, we got the time right. We got the price wrong. But yeah, I was wrong with the $2 Doge. I did say Q4, but it never went to $2. It stopped at 50 cents. So yeah, I was wrong. What did I miss? Doge to 5 cents in the next... I don't know if it's going to be the next... We might see Doge... Imagine Doge is at 5 cents in 3 weeks. That would be nuts. But I hope for our sake, because we're all moon boys at heart, I hope for our sake we get the drop and then we get accumulation, because then we can be bullish right away. We could be bullish right from January. Boom, we go right back up. All right, let's start planning, gentlemen and the 3 ladies. Did the ladies still come to the stream, or did they get scared away from the bearish propaganda? Bearish propaganda. Dude, I swear, I don't know who said that, but that's the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. But let's start preparing. Get your notepads out. So the absolute bottom, we should get white candles. Somebody jot that down. We didn't get it. Well, this one's a little different. You probably would have had it if the wick wasn't so big. But we enter capitulation when we get maroon candles. So I'm going to delete this because it's in the way. We'll leave the blue box there. So we'll know that if it's August, between August and October. No, sorry. If it's between October and January, these candles should be white and maroon. So we're looking for a repeat of this. We'll know that this is the bottom accumulation. It might even be, if we're lucky, it might even be stretched like this. That's why I kind of hope we go down now. But if we don't and we get the bounce, everything is just going to get moved over. But nevertheless, when we get maroon candles, we're going to know that we're in capitulation. Technically, or not technically, hypothetically. Technically, we're not in capitulation until the new pull turns red, which we're not even close. We're so far from that. We are so far from that. Yeah, we got a long way to go. We did just make a new low, though. Did we? 26, 25. Yes, the long term. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. My camera's blocking. The long-term new bull did just make a new low finally. So that's not good. Yeah, see, when it's truly bullish, it makes higher lows. Unless we're right here and we're going to teleport out of here. But you can see it was a higher low, then we went up. Higher low, and then we went up. We just made a lower low. But even this was freaking useful. Look, when we get to overheated, it's time to get out. I'll keep saying that. If you got out March of 2024, you pretty much made out like a bandit. If you got out in 2019, technically you didn't get the whole bull run, but you were able to buy back in. And then if you sold in October, well, technically if you sold in October of 2020, then you missed the bull run, but you're going to have a whole bevy of indicators. So if we have the RSI on the screen and there's 1,000 people in the chat and you have a lot of money and this indicator is overheated, it's probably time to get out. Just like when it comes into this green box, it's probably time to get in. I think this one might be better than the actual Nupal, because the actual Nupal told you that you could get in June, which technically if you did, you got close enough to the bottom. But the long-term holders is what really dictates the market. I know a lot of people love saying Wall Street and whales, and the whales are accumulating, and someone just said it before, the whales are accumulating. The long-term holders accumulate down here, and we're not down there. They don't necessarily capitulate, they just go underwater. Because this is net unrealized profit and loss. Right? So they're feeling the fire, but they might not actually sell. Maybe they do. But this is considered unrealized profit and loss, which means these guys are not even in loss yet. Think about that. Each bear market bottom has concluded when everyone is underwater. But these guys are not even close to being underwater. So we got to go significantly lower before these people are underwater. And you might be asking, who's they? That will be the long-term holders. You see how on the top it says LTH? We simply go here. LTH, realized price. Ba-bam. Ba-bam, ba-bam. We got to go to 48K, I think. At least. Right? It's happened every single time. So that's what I think is on the menu. I know it's repetitive, but when we get there, everyone's going to be like, oh my God. This is just the first time we're prepared for it. Oh, look at this too. Yeah, the MVRV score. Oh, the MVRV score did top in Q1. Yeah, look, you can see that we did not reach the green. Nah, we're getting close, man. We're getting close. Oh, wow, long-term holders too. Yeah, oh, that's bearish, chat. They might be getting ready, chat. Oh, that's not good. Oh, SpongeBob. I haven't said that in a while. Yeah, look, the MVRV score just nosedived. This is the long-term holders. Yeah, we're getting ready, chat. When this thing turns red, you can begin being a moon boy. Yeah, we're getting there. Short-term holders are already red. They go red every time. They turn red in 2025, 2024, 2023. It's just a waiting game now. It's just a waiting game now. So what is the plan? I'm starting to formulate my plan. What are you guys buying? Are you guys buying altcoins? What are you buying? The whales are restricted from withdrawing their funds from banks, private equity, so they're selling their paper ETF stocks, cryptos. I'm not sharing what I'm buying. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. I'm buying BTC in October. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Ooh. Call me crazy, but I think IBIT has to go back to where it started. I think IBIT has to go below the low. This way, by default, if you purchased, unless someone correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't want to give misinformation, but I'm pretty sure IBIT was the first Bitcoin ETF. Or was it the largest? So, by definition, all these custodians will be underwater if we go below $22. So that might be where we're going. So I present to you degenerate option number 1 for the degenerates in the chat. Now, maybe they make a 3x ETF. That would be worth note. That would be worth purchasing. But there is a 2x Bitcoin ETF that just made another low. Also bearish propaganda. So if IBIT goes down to $22, that's a 42% drop. This would fall by 80%. So they'll probably do a stock split. But hear me out. Ready? If Bitcoin usually rips by 50 to 100% off the low, even if you don't get the exact bottom, let's just assume we go sideways and we buy in. You ripped by 83% off the low in 2023. You ripped by, oh my, 150% off the low. And then here again, you ripped by 100% off the low. So if the bottom is actually going to be at 40K, you're probably going to see Bitcoin shoot right back up to like 70,000 a year from. Like, I'm willing to bet that in 1 year, Bitcoin is the same price that it is right now. That's what I think. We have to be so precise down here. I think I told you that before. The new pool supports that. I think the only time it didn't was in 2015, where the new... No, that's what I said. Yeah, when the new pool turns red a year later, you're back in the profit. The only time that didn't happen was 2014, because the new bull turned red in December, and then the following December... No, the following December it was green. Yes, technically, when the nupal turns red 1 year later, you're actually okay. That's been the case every time. December of 2014, a year later, bull run started. You had November of 2018, a year later, we were already up. You have June of 2022, a year later. Yeah. I think if we make it through this, it's going to be much easier to survive. The elites are milking US peons. He sold because he had to pay 11% to shareholders. So let's try and make this. I want to try and make this accurate. We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. What is this white line? Oh. I think I have the green line is the bottom. Yeah, the green line is the bottom. Yeah, let's get serious now. No more jokes. Because I don't know about you guys, but I really don't want to mess this bull run up. I got one more good shot. I got one more good run left. I don't know if Nanangoyan is still here or if he's still moping around outside the casino. But I got one more good run. I could feel it. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is the accumulation. All right, so our bottom would be somewhere around here. Doesn't have to be October. It could be anywhere, but we're just going to mark it. We're just going to assume the bottom is here somewhere. And we're going to use thick green lines. So the question is, question number 1 on the test. How many days after the bottom does the bull run begin? Question number 1 for Charlie in the back. Charlie, what's your answer? In 2023, it was 45 days from the low. In 2018, well, technically this was the low. In 2018, it was 90, we'll say 100 days from the low. And 2015 was where it gets sticky because it was very far. But even so, you could say 40 days from the low, you still spiked up. Even though we came back down, we spiked up by 29%. So it looks like 2015 is where everything kind of gets a little wobbly. Because technically the bottom wasn't in until, or sorry, the bottom was in, but then the rally took place 268 days later. So that's not really going to help us. If we pretend that this is the bottom, then we would say 60 days after the bottom. So we got 60 with an asterisk, 100, and 45. So it looks like you get about a month and a half after the bottom is in to get in. Which means you assume the bottom is in October or November. Let's just play it safe. We'll say between November and October. You have 40 days after that to get in, which is December. So we're just going to assume we got to be in by January. So bull runs start January. So what do we want to use for our bull run start? A dotted line? Yeah, we'll use a dotted line. Oh, we could just use a giant dotted line. There we go. All right, so bull run starts December. We'll just say it could be earlier than that. I don't know, but we're just going to assume it's here. So whatever kind of decision you want to make, you got to make it before January. Now, this is heavily dependent on if we go down now or if we bounce. If we go down now, I think this is going to work. If we don't go down now, this is going to get shifted outwards because of the realized price accumulation that we already talked about. So this is subject to move, but for now we can speculate that it's going to be here somewhere. Which means what? Where do we always stop? That's the next question. Is there a reason why we stop where we stop? Here we stopped at the blue moving average. Here we went through the blue moving average. Here we stopped at the blue moving average. So we could speculate. Yeah, actually, by the time we get down there, I don't like moving averages. I'm gonna pick something else. What do we got? What do we got in our bags of goodies? What do we have in our bags of goodies? What happened to the super guppy? I wonder, can we use the super guppy? Well, it looks like you rallied to the top, which as currently constructed, yes, so we're probably gonna go from 40K right back to 70,000. That's the first estimate. I'm gonna keep this chart, man. We did that in 2023 and it worked all the way until 2025. I'm going to assume, oh, I already have it drawn. Yeah, I'm going to assume the rally is going to stop here. I think we stop at 75,000. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher. Usually the summer sucks. So I'm going to actually shrink this. I'm going to shrink it down to June. Then we enter another period of sideways from June probably until December. So how much of a gain is that? Yeah, that's going to be like a 65% gain off the low. The reason why this is so important is because Bitcoin is only going to have like 2 or 3 big moves, and then it's going to suck the rest of the way. I'm willing to bet this is probably sideways or bearish. Ooh. And the reason why this is so important, I'm going to actually emphasize this whole thing is going to be gold. This yellow box is literally where you must get your money. What's a good color combo? I guess I like yellow. I just wish it was brighter. Yeah, that works. Can I increase the thickness? So this is the golden age. This is where you make your money here. This is the rally back to the all-time high. Whenever we rally back to the all-time high, that's where everybody gets rich. The problem is it keeps shrinking. It's getting smaller. And that's why we made a new all-time high before the halving. And it's going to happen again. So from 70K back to 130K, how much of a move is that? That's about a 90% gain. It's going to be very quick too. This one was 180%. But look, they're getting smaller. Well, this one was 90%, but the rally afterwards is getting smaller. But I can't say that I know what it's going to look like because we had a second rally here, but this one wasn't as powerful. So how do we fix this? Because this red box is where we must exit. We must leave. I just want to make sure this information is correct. Give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second, please. Excuse me, please. 2028. Yeah, okay. All right, so we kind of, yeah, we gotta be out. Gotta start getting out here. So this gets a little bit tricky because this could technically be split. This could be split in two, or it could just be a big one like 2020. I don't know. We're gonna have to play it by what it looks like. Because you'll notice, before I delete it, yeah, the monthly stock RSI is overbought. So we're gonna have to monitor the monthly stock RSI. It should be up here. So you definitely do not want to miss the first move up, because that is critical. The first move up is going to send the stock RSI up to overbought. Maybe we should use a 2-month. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Good, good, good. Amaze, amaze, amaze. Yes. Good, good, good. I'm gonna start saying that. Good, good, good. Amaze, amaze, amaze. Good, good, good. Yes, good, good, good. The 2-month stock RSI, there's your ticket, chat. Your ticket to superstardom is when the 2-month stock RSI goes from oversold to overbought. Good, good, good. There it is. It turned bearish when we crossed into when we crossed out of overbought. All right, there's your answer. The 2-month stock RSI. When it's crossing up to overbought, that is your ticket. Yes, you put Doge on the chart. You guys, I'm getting a little bit excited, man. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready. I'm not ready yet, but I'm getting ready. Yes, look at Dogecoin. When the 2-month stock RSI goes from oversold to overbought, that is where Doge goes to the moon. You see, July of 2023 was the best time to buy in. And the best time to get out was May of 2024 onwards. So we can expect the 2-month stock RSI to remain oversold until January. No. By the time it leaves oversold, you already started moving up. So you have to be in before that. But you can clearly see that we're dead right now. There's a 0% chance we're going up right now. It's dead. Right now we're in May of 2022 and September of 2018. If those months ring a bell. Good, good, good. Pumptober this time. Was blasting Paradise City today. Nah, those days are... you know what? We'll see. Maybe next time. I'm pumped. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling it. I think we're gonna get a God run. I think we're gonna get a God run. I think I'm gonna be able to do it this time. I did it last time. I just choked at the end. The 2-month stock RSI should be overbought here. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that. So is it the monthly? Yeah. Okay, so the monthly stock RSI entering into the dotted line lets you know the bull run has officially started. So you need to be in before the monthly stock RSI leaves the dotted line. Right? In 2022, you needed to be in before you see it curl up. Well, it's if you wait for it to curl up, you're going to miss the bottom. That's why you have to take the risk that the bottom is in. But when it curls up, you know the bull market has started. That's been the case every time. Even in 2015, look, even the fake rally, the Fed and the inflation, the Fed and the fake hopium, stock RSI never went up. When the monthly stock RSI goes up, it's a real bull run. So somebody jot that down. I'll do it for myself. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. It's going to be a lot to fit on one screen. I don't know. Do I prefer blank? Probably, right? Does anybody know why my Bitstamp chart is not loading? I'm just gonna save and then we'll go back. Is anybody else having issues with Bitstamp? I don't understand. When I go to 1 month, it doesn't load. That's all right, not a problem. All right, so we're saying that when the monthly stock RSI leaves oversold, the bull run has officially started. That's an undeniable fact. Don't let the Moon Boys tell you otherwise. Perma Bears. So when the monthly stock RSI leaves oversold, that is your first leg to the upside. So you have to be in before that. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want, not financial advice. But I have to be in before the monthly stock RSI hits over, leaves overbought. Okay, beautiful. Now, the parabolic part of the bull run, which is where we all get money, that is when we leave. It's the same exact thing as this. It's the same exact thing. Dude, we're going to be so ready. Oh, we're going to be so ready. You might even be able to get away with 3 month. You could. You're pushing it, but you're pushing it. But I guess if you want to avoid a COVID crash, you could say 3 month. That's up to you if you want to use the 3 month. Technically, it's not wrong. The 3 month stock RSI leaving oversold triggers the big bull run, which you could see is not even, it's not even like It's not even oversold yet. So we're still super bearish. Yeah, we're super bearish right now. There's just no bull run in sight. But yes, you would say when the 3-month stock RSI leaves oversold, that is your run. Now, I would prefer the 2-month just because it hit overbought every time. I like keeping things consistent. The 3-month didn't hit overbought last time, so you might get wrecked. And just because it happened last time doesn't mean it has to happen again. But until it doesn't happen, it happens. So we did go from oversold to overbought in both prior market cycles. I have reason to believe that this one will not be like 2018 because, well, I guess it's too early to say, but if we go down in the next month or two, it shouldn't be like 2018. But we don't want to rule it out. But technically, when the 2-month stock RSI leaves oversold, that is the best time to get in. So we have January of 2020, which again, obviously, if COVID didn't happen, we don't know. Because if you look at it from this time frame, 2020 doesn't really look that different from 2022. If you ignore COVID, they don't look different at all. Seriously. So it makes you wonder, would this have... You don't have to wonder. We literally got the same thing twice in a row. Doge topped on the first peak. Doge topped on the first peak. MSTR topped on the first peak. MSTR topped on the first peak. Stock RSI hit overbought. Stock RSI hit overbought. Well, technically hit overbought in May of 2024. So I, being Moonboy, must exit on the first top. You see how I'm changing my tone from last time? Last time I tried to tell everyone the top is here, you must get out. Now I'm saying the top could be anywhere, but I am leaving here. No excuses. I must get out. Why? Because they make up some propaganda. You know what's maybe Trump wins a third term. That's gonna be the peak. I don't know what the narrative is, but now we know it doesn't matter. The narrative always shows up right on time. So I'm going to use the 2-month stock RSI because if COVID didn't happen, they look very, very similar. So let's just say 2-month stock RSI, even though you could technically argue it left in July. Again, if COVID didn't happen, you ask the question, would we have just gone up? So when could we project that to be? If the bottom was in November, and then the bottom was in January, and the bottom was in January, how many months out is that? That's 425 days. 365 days. 300 days. So it's about 300 to 400 days from the bottom. That's where you buy the shit coins. So if our bottom is in November, well, I can't click October because these are 2-month candles. Let's just mark November to be safe. 300 days puts us in September of 2027. So you're looking at September to October of 2027. You must buy your shit coins. No, I'm just kidding. That's where we're projected to see the next golden, the next rally back to the all-time high. Now it could be faster than that. It could be slower than that. I don't know. I can't give you an exact day 2 years in advance. Well, I guess it would be it would be a year in advance, but we're really not that far away if you think about it. It might even be it might even be January. It's somewhere around here. Because the first one was 425, 365, 304. Isn't 304? That sounds familiar. 304. It's it's shrinking. So maybe it is shorter. But somewhere around the fall of 2027. We'll just say that there. We'll mark November of 2027. I will mark November of 2027. So rough guesstimate. And how long does that last? That lasts about 425 days. 427 days. This one was monstrous at 5. Yeah, we're never going to get that again. So we could speculate that you get about 400 days of a bull market. Like ultra bullish. But there is some bearish propaganda mixed in there, don't forget. But so 400 days puts us in January of 2029. So this could move. I don't know if this is going to be accurate. I'll just put September to keep it safe because I have to be out by November of 2028. Now, I really wish I would have opened up a new format. That's what I did last time. Damn it. I'm going to have to delete this because this is on my index. I need this chart. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I should have thought about that. Yeah, I guess I should, right? We don't want to be lazy. Is there a way to Oh, I can make a copy. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I can make a copy. Have fun staring at the crypto whatever the hell that's called. Hold on a second. Nope, I can't copy. You already have a limit. Should we use macro YouTube? Oh, yes, I already have that. Yes, yes, yes. Good, good, good. Hold on. Let me finish this for myself. Because I'm making a note. I'm making a note of it in my notepad. So we're projected to be ultra bullish September of 2027 to November of 2028. That seems to be what's been happening. So let me just make a projection here that the 2-month stock RSI is projected to go like this. I know exactly. Yes, now I'm starting to remember what I did in 2023. Okay, so we're gonna just do the same exact thing, but on the macro YouTube. This way I don't have to delete it. But that's exactly what we were doing anyway. So, right, that's why I did what I just did, so I can take a note of it. Okay, we're back on track. So our 2-month stock RSI is projected to leave when? What did I just do? Our 2-month stock RSI left oversold how many days from the low? 304 days from the low. This one was 426 days from the low. And this one is always going to be tricky. Not really, 425. So we're looking for 300 to 400 days post bottom. That's going to be where the gold rush is, where everybody starts making YouTube channels. Euphoria is at its peak. That's where the new bull is going to run. So we got 300 to 400 days from the bottom. If we assume that the bottom is in November or October, doesn't matter. 300 days is September of 2027. That will put a yellow line with big dots, just like the bull market starting. And we'll extend the golden box because I don't know how long it's going to last. Now, these could overlap, so I'm not going to make any statements just yet. It could be as early as 300 and as late as January. It's a very, very big range because I'm not 100% sure, but we don't have all the data yet. And when it reaches overbought, that is where you begin to take profit. And based on that trajectory, if this plays out, we should go down to the bottom by the end of the year, turn bullish in January, leave oversold sometime in around September-ish, and then we should hit overbought by March, April, May, which means after May or June, depending on how much money you have, you could start taking profit because we have to be gone by November of 2028. So green, should I put a little note? Maybe I'll keep a note for myself. Do we need this? No. Do we need this? No. Right, what should I put here? A red line, right? Saying get out. Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. Get out. There's really not that much time if you think about it. And now that we know we're going down, well, I guess some people, maybe we don't go down, but if we do go down, we'll know that this is going to play out. Now, this is much different from the 4-year cycle because the 4-year cycle only applies to Bitcoin. It does not apply to MSTR or Solana. Because technically, you could have sold your Solana here and left and saved yourself 2 whole years of misery. Actually, it's more than that because 2 years ago already passed. Now we're on 2.5 years coming up. So the point here is to locate the maximum efficiency. All right, we made some progress today. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna say green dot. Wait, let me stretch this out. I'm getting rid of the blue box. It's annoying me. We're gonna say and then the 2 month is gold. Wait, so we want to go back. When does the monthly RSI hit overbought? $212. $212 again. Again, this one ruins every guess 330. So we'll just say 200 to 300 days from the low, the monthly stock RSI hits overbought. So if the low is in October or November, 200 to 300 days from then is June. Yes, so we're looking for a June to August peak as the first top in the bull market. Now that's basically a cop out because you could just pull from data and say that because it's true. You topped in April, but then you topped in July, and then again you topped in July. So both prior market cycles you topped in July. This one you topped in January. So it's a little different, but that's essentially what we're shooting for. We're shooting for the first top to be in the summer of 2027. Not the top of the market cycle, but the first move up. The top should be in the summer, which is why this white box is here. We enter the boring phase. Basically what we just sat through, but to the upside. So that's projected to be in June. So I guess I want to put a green box. Right, because the monthly stock RSI stays overbought unless it's 2019. Okay, that is true. So we're looking for the monthly stock RSI to hit overbought sometime in the summer of 2027. I don't that I think that's enough rabbit hole for today. Let me see. 2-month stock RSI is golden lines. Do we need this? No. Right, is that what I have? Where did I cut that off? Here. All right. We've officially begun building our bull market plan. So, we don't need to stock RSI anymore, and we don't need large of a time frame. Now we can also use, I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. I like it. What happened to all-time high season? That shit never existed, man. That's not funny. I'll be right back. I gotta refill my drink. I gotta refill my drink. I also like I also like the Cutler RSI. Man, I think we're gonna do it. This is the exact same thing we did in 2023 that said get out in Q1. I can't believe that was already 2 years ago almost. Son of a biscuit. All right. I also like the Cutler RSI. Remember we talked about this? Let's keep this on here so we don't have to keep deleting it because this info box is very annoying. But it might not work as well. But technically, we should get this golden box at the top to let us know it's time to start getting out. As you can see on the bottom section, it's almost time to start getting in. Like, we're almost there. You can't see it because of all the lines, but look. We're almost down at the end. It's almost time to get in, man. I hope we get this drop over with. But you sell when it's up here and you buy when it's down here. The problem is you've made a lower low every market cycle. We didn't make a lower low yet. So I'm not sure if it's time to be bullish just yet. You could also just use the monthly, honestly. I don't know. Do we want to get rid of this red thing? I think we can get rid of the red. I don't It's useful, but it's in my way. You're in my way. So yeah, I like it. What do we think? You want to keep this? I think we keep this. I think you get max bullish when you're down here. It's time to get in. This is letting us know we're still bearish. Bottom was in February of 2019. Bottom was in December of 2022. Bottom was in August of 2015. The good news is if you buy in when it's down here, you ride it all the way up. It is that simple. There's no reason to complicate it. So I like this. If we shrink it down to 3 weeks, we might be able to use it to time the exact top. Not the top of the market cycle, but the top of euphoria. Because these green boxes, sorry, these yellow boxes correspond, you guessed it, exactly where these nooples hit overbought. February of 2021, February, March of 2024, June and December of 2017. So everything is pretty much tied together here. So as you can see, there's no bull run anywhere, but we're most definitely on the tail end of the bear market. There's only 4 months left. Dude, I'm getting a little bit excited now. Look, January of 2019. By January of 2021, it was alt season. So if you were poor here, 2 years later, you had all the money in the world. December of 2022, a year and a half later, you had all the money in the world. And I can tell you, being here both times, it was true. We had dirt here, and we were on top of the world here. Unfortunately, we got greedy. Unfortunately, we got greedy. So it does work. It 100% works. I'm sure if you bought in November of, look, March of 2012. Was that the bottom? Oh, it was almost the bottom. Dude, thank God I stopped myself. I almost deleted our chart. Holy crap. I was like, wait, I feel like I have to go back. If I would have clicked off, we would have lost it forever. And not that you guys might not care, but I care. That would have been, I would have been pissed. I actually would have been really mad. But I remember in the back of my head, wait, don't click off of this. All right, so we're going to use the Cutler RSI because it's legit. I think we're going to be ready. It's not going to be perfect because I'm not perfect, but I learned that when you try and be perfect, you usually don't make any money because you either never get in or you never get out. If you try and sell the exact top, you never get in. Sorry, get out. If you try and buy the exact bottom, you never get in. But you don't want to go against the data because you don't want to miss the bottom. There's no data that says the bottom is in. But it says we're getting very, very close. Very, very, very close. What was the time frame I used? The 3 week? I think one more flush down. And we'll know it's time to get out. Where we get out. It might not hit, yo. But like, if it's close enough and the newple is also on the ceiling, it's time to go. Even if it's not the top of the market cycle, it doesn't matter. It's time to go. All right, very happy. Hit save. Well done today. All right, I feel a little bit better. I do. I feel a little bit better now that we at least have a path to take. And it's like, guys, I don't know if you noticed, but Ethereum did make a lower low. That's your first instinct that the bottom is not in. Right? ETH on Coinbase, it made another low. We might be right here, man. Imagine it just goes straight down starting tomorrow. That doesn't, it's probably not going to happen, but you drew your color lines on the 2 month last time for buy in and sell here. Did the Nupa work for SPY? No, no, I don't think anything really works for SPY. It just goes up forever. But I actually, funnily enough, I think the next bear market is actually going to be a real bear market. Because now everyone's going to say, oh, I'm buying stocks. I mean, you still should, not financial advice, but 2022 was actually a real bear market. If you look at it from the stock RSI perspective. Like, we had a full-blown reset. Look at that shit. So, it is what it is. Non-Ngoyan is here. I'm gonna start calling you Mr. Moper. The problem of trying to get rich now is there's 20 million coins, what to buy. We never got 100x like Fendi with Bonk. Even if we charted right, we can't make it because we have to buy shit coins. No, 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 Non-Ngoyan. That's not true, man. That's not true. All you have to do for the... I'll admit though, I'm a little nervous that Ethereum doesn't go up. That sounds really stupid to say, but doesn't it look really bad? But you don't have to buy shit coins. Yoga says he just bought 50k Caspa. I don't know, man. Good luck. There's a way out of here. There's a way out of here, Mr. Ngoyan. Think with your heart, not with your brain. Not financial advice. But the thing is, Mr. Ngoyan, listen to me when I speak. The reason why our chart is so important is because the shit coins will run when it's time. Let me put it into perspective. So, someone just pointed out that I used the 2-month Cutler RSI. Let me see if I go back to that. Oh, whoops. We used the 2-month. Yeah, I think I said that last time. You're right. You could do that too, which is also bearish, by the way. It just made another low. Oh, yeah, you're right, actually. That was the best time to get out when it hit up here. Yeah. We'll use a combination of them. Oh, I see what you're saying, Pork Chop. Yeah, when the 2-month stock RSI pivoted down, that was the best time to get in. The fact that it lines up with what I already said before and I didn't even remember this makes me think that it's gonna work. Nice. Who said that? Barney? Yeah, Wee's Barney. That was a good memory, Pork Chop. When the 2-month Cutler RSI hits purple or even pivots, when it pivots back up. Yeah, that's the run. March to March, March to November, July to November. This is projected to come down here by, I guess I don't know. I can't say that I know. Maybe it goes flat. But yeah, that's a good... So I'm just going to leave it on there, and we'll just change the time frames. But what I was going to say, which we could even use that, go back to the 2-month pivot. I'm never going to forget when Local Liquid came in the chat and he said, I'm buying Wojak. And I said, why is he buying Wojak? That thing is, it looks like a rug. But in my defense, that was before I was opened up to the shitcoin fiasco. I didn't know that this... I don't think anybody really knew the button clicking propaganda that was about to occur, where they were going to launch new coins every 10 minutes. I I don't think anybody was prepared for that. But nevertheless, Mr. Local Liquid said, I'm buying Wojak, and I said, Wojak? This thing just died. But that's because I didn't fully understand the market, and I still don't. I'm not saying that I do, but, like it says on the top of your screen, you can't see, it's cropped out. There's a coin called Dick Butt. But, damn, that overlay moves in the corner? That's pretty cool. This Cutler RSI pivoted in July, and it ripped until September of 2024. Look at where Wojak turned bullish. It pivoted August of 2023, and it was bullish until June of 2024 and November of 2024. So, to answer Mr. Ngoyen's questions, this chart does work for the shitcoins. Technically, if you bought July of 2023, you didn't get the exact bottom, which is why it's never going to be perfect. But when it hit overbought, even if you sold in September of 2024, you still caught the bulk of the move. So if a 20x wasn't enough, then it's never enough. But you still got a 10x. So that's the exact reason why I'm making this chart. I'm not making this chart for Bitcoin, because you could just say buy Bitcoin in Q4 and sell it in Q4 in the following year. Or, in the following cycle top. And that will work. But that doesn't work for people like me, because I'm not buying Bitcoin. I'm not buying Wojak, but if I did buy Wojak, this chart will work for Wojak because it worked in 2024. I just misinterpreted my own chart. My own chart said get out in Q4 of 2024, Q1 of 2025, but I said the top must be here. And because the top wasn't there, I thought the chart was wrong. The chart was right, I was wrong. But the chart was incorrect because I said Bitcoin would top. But everything that wasn't Bitcoin or Ethereum or BNB pretty much did top. Or XRP, it's like 5 coins. So now we know. But Mr. Ngoyen is presented with a problem, which is a very true problem that is going to be very difficult to solve. What coin do you get? Because I remember Mongoose. I mean, even Mongoose did a 12x, man. It did a 12x. I would have to say you're on your own with that. I don't know. But probably something that's not out yet. Probably a coin that's not out yet. Now, Non-Ngoyen, it's up to you if you want to plug yourself back into the casino and just live on Twitter. I'm not doing that. If you want to, you can. If you want to buy some GigaChad action, that's up to you. But I'm sticking to the basics this time around. I'm not going down the shadow. I'm not going down that path. I know where it leads. It's very profitable if you're lucky, and if you're not lucky like me, then you have to really grind it out, and I don't have it in me anymore. I just don't. So I'm taking the road. I'm actually not taking the road less traveled. I'm taking the road more traveled, and I'm probably gonna look at MSTR or something, because MSTR lines up with this chart as well. And that's why I'm going to start covering MSTR for the same reason I cover Dogecoin. It's a perfect, it is a perfect gauge as to where we are in the market cycle. So you'll see as I show you, the chart was made before I had MSTR on the screen, that it does apply to MSTR as well. When the 2-month stock RSI leaves oversold, MSTR goes parabolic. Doesn't mean you're catching the bottom, because you might not, but we're going to know the bottoms at the end of the year. Same thing with the Cutler RSI. The Cutler RSI bounced in July of 2023. If you bought MSTR July of 2023, you caught the whole move. And if you sold it when it hit overbought, or not overbought, sorry. If you sold it when it exited the green box, you basically sold the top. Now, it's easier said in hindsight, because when we're in the moment, we would have been saying, oh, well, it has to hit the golden box. And it never did. That's why we have to accept all the incoming data. We can't just rely on one indicator, but I'm just showing you that the indicator did get it right, where it said buy MSTR when we hit oversold, sell it when we leave the green box. You didn't sell the top, but you caught the meat of the move. It worked both times. If you bought MSTR in March of 2020, which they didn't buy Bitcoin until August, so this is irrelevant anyway, but still, if you sold it when it reached out of the green box, you sold it in the December of 2020. You didn't get the exact top, but you got the big move. Now, again, we're not going to rely on one indicator, but we didn't do that last time either. We had 100 indicators. They all said get out except for alt season. That was the only indicator we didn't have. We all knew it was time to get out. We just didn't, because I and many other people were saying, oh, we need alt season. But the Newpol will also hit overbought. If I had to guess, the Newpol should hit overbought. And if the Newpol breaks, then so be it. We have the fear and greed as well. Do not forget about the fear and greed index. How do I pull that up? Should be here somewhere. Should be under other charts. Here we go. It's probably going to be when the fear and greed hits blue. My eyes. My eyes. Right? That's why we're going to have all the charts. All the charts. Everything's going to be tied together. If all of these indicators are going off at the same time, and you happen to have a lot of money, it's probably time to start taking some money off the table, because it never feels like the top until it's the top. But you need the signals to be present. You can't just say it doesn't feel like the bottom, so that means it's the bottom. There's no indication that the bottom is in. You can't even say that the fear and greed index made a new low, because it did. It hit 5, but all the way back in no man's land, it hit 6, and the bottom still wasn't in. So, oh, there it is again. The bottom hit 5, and then the bottom fell out. So we can't even rely on the fear and greed to say that the bottom is in. Just because it hits greed doesn't mean that the top is in. But to be fair, we did hit 5 and we did get a reversal. And even I faded it. I didn't think we would get that big of a bounce. But I remember pointing out to you that it did make a lower high. I know for a fact I said that to you. And it's very common in bear markets where you make lower highs on the fear and greed. And that's what we just did. And now we went down. So we're going to be we have so much time. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and start making my bull market checklist like we need all of these indicators. Right now, we don't even know if we're going down or if we're going down in 2 months. But I want to have this ready so... Because I'm telling you right now, you're going to blink and it's going to be summer of 2027. And when it's the summer of 2027, you literally have 365 days to change your life. If you don't, you have to sit through another bear market. While the 4-year cycle remains intact, the market cycle that we know changes every time. The best time to make as much money as possible keeps moving. In 2017, it was right at the top. In 2021, it was actually in 2020. In 2024, it was at the end of 2023. Even though the peak was a whole year and a half later, we don't know where that is. That's what's so scary. Because we got complacent. The reality is I made this chart in 2023. Once I got a bunch of money, I got lazy and I stopped caring and then I lost it all. But now we know if you have a lot of money in July to September of 2028, there's going to be all-time high propaganda that we're going to have a 4-year cycle, and we probably will. But your net worth will probably peak here. If you're not buying Bitcoin or stocks, I'm willing to bet that your net worth will probably peak in November or October of 2028 or earlier. For me personally, it's very likely, I hope. Well, when I say peak, I mean hopefully I get out this time. Hopefully I got a lot of money in the bank by this time, because that's only a year and a half from now, and how old will I be? No, it's not a year and a half from now. It's 2 years from now. Damn it. Damn it. Ah, it's 2 years from now. That's all right. Son of a biscuit. 2 years from now. Damn, I got excited for a second. I'm getting old now, but it's fine. It is what it is. So that's where we're at. The most basic indicators, I believe, are the best. What are the most basic indicators? I think the most basic indicator of all time is technically the RSI, which is still bearish. You made a lower low on everything. The monthly, the 2-month, the 3-month. We didn't make a lower low on the weekly yet. We're not there. But it might be coming. She might be coming, chat. You know why I think it might? Maybe it doesn't, but it might, because this peak was 532 days from this low. This peak was 700 days from this low, which means this euphoria was much earlier than this. So we have more time because the bottom is further away, which means we could actually put a lower low in by the end of the year. Which, I mean, if the RSI is at 20, I think everybody would probably buy in. But that's not true because everybody who's bullish now is probably going to give up down here. Just like when we went down here, I didn't give up because I'm always a moon boy, but I got obliterated because I thought the bottom was already in, so I got wrecked. So what's going to happen is people who think the bottom's already in, again, I'm not saying they're going to get wrecked. Hopefully nobody gets wrecked, but somebody has to hold, right? And if we do go down there, the people that never got out can't buy in because they're already in. So technically, not everybody would buy in, but I think most people are probably going to buy in Q4. And the reality is, the propagandists will say that everybody says that, so it's not going to happen. Trust me, I even tried to say last time that it's not going to happen, and it happened anyway. And this is going to be the third time I'm seeing it happen. And every time people say why it's not going to go down, it went down. I tried saying it wasn't going to go down in 2022, it went down. Now other people this time around tried saying it's not going to go down. Thankfully, I was one of the people. I didn't call the top by any means, but even I at least admitted like, okay, we broke 100K, it's over. You know, it seems like, oh, it's too good to be true, but the reason why it's not is because not everybody believes it. If everybody truly believed something, then maybe it wouldn't work. But you still have a lot of YouTubers saying it's a super cycle or it's different this time. And they're big YouTubers with like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Now, I don't know if they're saying that just to keep the ad revenue up because my ad revenue is basically non-existent. We got 5 months, maybe even 4 months. I think my stream just died. Are we still live? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. I think my stream died. Oh well. Well, I don't know if I'm still live. I just got a disconnected message, but I should still be live. But either way, that should be all she wrote for today. So, with that said, stay safe is the most important thing. I don't know if we're going to break the low now or if we're going to break the low later on. It could be either or. You'll have to watch your favorite YouTuber. They'll tell you exactly when it's going to come. And you know, I think we're prepared. I think we're gonna do well this time. We have to take everything we learned from 2023 and 2024. What did we learn? You could buy altcoins if you want to, but don't expect them to go up. Only Bitcoin is gonna go up. Only stocks are gonna go up. MSTR should go up. And if you want to be a risky person, you can try BMNR, but I don't know. It might be too risky for me. I don't think I'm buying it. That guy's a con artist. No, I'm just kidding. I remember that guy came on TV in 2017 saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000 or some shit like that, and then we went straight down. So, Ethereum might not go up. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Like, I know it sounds dumb to say, but that's if you're looking at it from a crypto moonboy perspective. If you look at it from a chart perspective and you like raise the time frame really high, you actually have the biggest double top in history. And it's like this, but it's upside down. So I honestly worry if we break this low, like what if the top is in forever and it just goes like this? And then we get a retracement. Yeah, not like imagine, dude, imagine buying Ethereum in the next market cycle and it doesn't even go up. That's why I'm upset, but at the same time, I'm like, I gotta give myself a little bit of credit. Like, dude, the fact that we made as much money as we did, even though we lost it, come on, man. Ethereum did nothing. We went into the scam coins and we got a bunch of 50% gains. I think we can do that again, but I don't want to. I'm gonna try and do it right this time. But without further ado, you can just see we're on our fourth red candle. Usually the bear market's about 3 to 4 candles. This one was unique because it was 5, but you can see the peak was here, so we had 3. You get about 3 to 4 candles here. This one was 4. So the bear market's almost done. The year's halfway over already. So first and foremost, I appreciate you guys listening to the soliloquy. We remember streams like today because when we're in the bull market and I'm on here screaming a bunch of rubbish, that's where the top usually is. It's days like today where we remember from 2023 where we sat here making charts, because times like now is when you're supposed to prepare, because when emotions are high, it's very hard to make not rash decisions, sound decisions. And it's much easier to make regular content that's helpful when there's 100 people instead of when there's 500 people. Because when there's 500 people in here, you just want to scream to the moon. To the moon, to the moon, to the moon. So I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to get it. Solana's probably done. Somebody said Solana's not going up next market cycle. You know what? The old version of me would have said that's impossible. I can't even say you're wrong. You know why I say that? Because Solana barely made a new all-time high this time around. Barely. That's the scary thing. We don't even know if it's going to make a new all-time high. And they're printing more coins. The market cap did make a higher high. That's what's nuts. The market cap didn't even make a lower low, but the price did. They're printing more Solanas. They're printing more Solanas. Hold on. So stay safe as always. None of this is financial advice. You're responsible for your own decisions. This stream is for entertainment only. Appreciate the support. Super chats. Doge is getting ready to move. Looks like we'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. Non-Ngoyan's still typing in the chat. I think the top is in for Bitcoin. Everything except for Bitcoin. It could be. We'll be back tomorrow. Appreciate the support. See you soon. And stay safe. Take care. you